cold case can feel like a locked room. Evidence sits on shelves. Leads go stale. Families wait. Then a new tool arrives and the door moves. Tonight we look at how genetic genealogy helped break the wall in a case widely discussed as the Golden State Killer. We will keep our language neutral and avoid graphic detail. We will focus on methods, on what is confirmed in broad public reporting, and on the limits and ethics of this approach. First, what is confirmed at a high level. For decades, investigators held biological evidence with DNA profiles generated from crime scenes. Those profiles did not match anyone in law enforcement databases. Years later, investigators used a form of long-range familial searching through consumer-style genealogy databases that allow uploads of genetic data. By building family trees from partial matches, investigators arrived at a short list of potential relatives and then at a specific individual. A separate, targeted DNA sample collected from an item discarded in public was compared to the crime scene profile. The match supported an arrest and subsequent proceedings. That is the structure. The details in different sources vary, but the core sequence is consistent in public accounts. Crime scene DNA, genealogical matches, family tree building, and a confirmatory test on a known sample. How does genetic genealogy work in principle? Consumer DNA services generate profiles from saliva samples. Customers use those profiles to find relatives or to explore ancestry. Some platforms allow users to upload raw genetic data from one service to search for relatives on another. If a user consents to make their profile visible for matching, others who upload can see how much DNA they share with that person. Investigators, working under policy and legal guidance, can upload a crime scene profile converted to a compatible format. If partial matches appear, genealogists can infer relationships, third cousin, fourth cousin, or more distant, and begin to build possible family trees using public records such as birth certificates, obituaries, marriage announcements, and address histories. Over time, the tree narrows to clusters where an age, a location, and other known factors align. The result is not a final identification. It is a hypothesis that requires a direct DNA comparison to confirm or exclude. The confirmatory step matters. In well-reported cases, investigators collected DNA from an object discarded in a public space, such as a tissue or a handle, where privacy expectations are lower. That sample was analyzed in a forensic lab and compared against the original crime scene profile. A strong match supports probable cause in an arrest. A non-match excludes a hypothesis. The genealogical tree points the way. The direct test answers the question. This two-step sequence, tree then test, is an important safety valve because it forces a fresh, independent measurement. What can this method not do? It cannot reveal private messages or thoughts. It does not read medical information in a consumer profile. Forensic uploads are limited to matching segments, not health traits. It cannot, on its own, place a person at a specific scene at a specific time. It cannot replace traditional investigation. It is a lead generator that narrows a vast search to a manageable list. It must be paired with timelines, locations, witness statements, and other evidence to build a case that can withstand scrutiny. Let us address ethics directly. Genetic genealogy touches people who never took a DNA test themselves. A distant cousin's upload can bring law enforcement to a family's doorstep. Different platforms have different policies about allowing law enforcement use. Some require explicit opt-in from users. Others prohibit such use entirely. Investigators are expected to follow policy, to obtain approvals, and to limit searches to serious violent crimes. The ethical core is proportionality and consent. The more serious the harm under investigation, the stronger the argument that limited, policy-bound use is justified. The more transparent platforms are about opt-in choices, the more comfortable the public can be. Privacy safeguards you can look for include clear platform settings, separate portals for law enforcement uploads, audit logs, and strict case-type restrictions. Independent oversight bodies and courts can also set rules for when and how genealogical leads may be pursued. These safeguards do not erase concerns, but they reduce the risk of mission creep. A healthy public conversation includes both gratitude for breakthroughs and vigilance about guardrails. What does this mean for everyday listeners? If you have taken a consumer DNA test, review your privacy settings. Decide whether your profile should be visible for relative matching and whether you opt into law enforcement matching if the platform offers that choice. Read the company's policy on warrants, uploads, and data retention. If you have never taken such a test, remember that public records still exist. Genealogists often use obituaries, census data, and yearbooks to build trees. The genetic piece is only one strand in a larger braid of open sources. The power of genetic genealogy lies in its ability to translate small amounts of shared DNA into family structures. A third cousin match may sound distant, but in a large tree it can be enough to identify a great-grandparent couple and to work forward. When combined with age, sex, geography, and timelines, the list of candidates can shrink quickly. This is both the strength and the reason for caution. Inaccurate tree building can point to the wrong branch. That is why the confirmatory test is essential, and why responsible investigators treat tree hypotheses as possibilities, not conclusions. We should also note the resource element. Building accurate trees takes time and skill. Public records can be contradictory. Names repeat. Families move. Adoption and non-paternity events complicate the picture. Good genealogists document each inference and label uncertainty. They avoid tunnel vision by exploring alternate branches. If you hear a story that skips from a distant match to a named person in one jump, be skeptical. Proper work is incremental and methodical. From a justice perspective, this method has two kinds of value. The first is identification in cases where other leads have failed. The second is exclusion. A person who is suspected for weak reasons can be ruled out quickly with a direct DNA comparison. Both outcomes help the system by focusing resources on the right targets and by reducing pressure on the wrong ones. When used carefully, genetic genealogy can be a scalpel rather than a net. Let us summarize the method in 4 plain steps. 1. Crime scene DNA is converted for matching and uploaded to a platform that permits such use under policy. 2. Partial matches are identified and used to build family trees from public records. 3. Candidates are prioritized based on age, location, and other known factors. 4. A direct DNA sample from a specific individual, collected lawfully, often from discarded items, is compared to the crime scene profile to confirm or exclude. Only after this final step should an arrest be considered. This sequence balances innovation with verification. As listeners, we can hold 2 thoughts at once. It is right to feel relief when a dangerous person is identified after many years. It is also right to insist on clear policies, opt-in choices, and independent oversight for new tools that touch intimate data. Gratitude and scrutiny can live together. That is how trust is built over time. We close with a calm reflection. Technology moves. Laws and ethics catch up. Families wait for answers. Investigators try new paths. Genetic genealogy is one of those paths. It turns distant kinship into a map. It points, but it does not prove. Proof comes from the final test, from timelines that align, and from courts that weigh evidence in full. As new tools arrive, the discipline remains the same. Move carefully, document everything, and separate possibility from fact. Next time we take on codes, crowdsourcing, and confirmation bias. We will explore the Zodiac case as a study in how puzzles can inspire effort and also mislead, and how to keep curiosity aligned with evidence when theories multiply online. Narration generated with AI, facts verified from public sources. No legal advice is given. The purpose is education and public safety. If you have a case tip or a documented pattern to share, use a safe channel and remove personal information that could identify non-public individuals.